and continue to win, and that's what keeps everyone around it.
We'll also raise a glass in celebration to the great Dan Marino of the Miami Dolphins. He's had a glorious career of magnificent statistical accomplishments. He has led the Dolphins to 5 division titles in his 12-year career. But if Marino is to progress through these playoffs and go on to win his first Super Bowl ring, he must today defeat the Kansas City Chiefs and Joe Montana.
He has been an incredible quarterback for a long time, and, you know, considered probably the best that's ever played. He's won 4 Super Bowls, and, you know, I have a lot of respect for Joe.
1994 is winding down. The new year awaits. Father Time is already taking the Detroit Lions with him. With their loss today, time has run out on their Super Bowl quest. Now we'll see which team joins them and which team will go forward into the new year. The Kansas City Chiefs face the Miami Dolphins in this AFC wild card matchup.
Well, it's playoff time and we're ready to rock. Time to catch all the hits, the bangs, and the blocks. It's a postseason party coming at you, yeah. The road to the Super Bowl is in full gear. We gotta get ready. We gotta get right. Time to kick off this wild card fight. So get ready. I mean, get ready. Are you ready for some football? A big playoff party. We got Frank and Al and Dan. They're gonna get it kick-started. Lynn and the crew's all set. The crowd is psyched. It's the NFL playoffs coming on. That's right.
It's a beautiful South Florida afternoon here in Miami. Temperature hovering right a little breezy, should be no problem. And a sellout crowd at Joe Robbie Stadium for the second half of our wild card doubleheader, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins. Hello again, everyone. Frank Gifford with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. So happy you are with us. We have a super matchup for you coming your way. This is the second half of our doubleheader. These two teams coming in on a bit of a roll. They met 3 weeks ago, and Miami prevailed in that one 45-28. The Dolphins won the game they had to win over Detroit a week ago, 27-20, to finish 10-6, the AFC East champions. Meanwhile, Kansas City has struggled all year long. They won a sudden death game, what amounted to a sudden death game last week against their arch rival, division rival, the Raiders, 19-9. And Al, coming into this game for Kansas City, even though they lost here 3 weeks ago, they're coming in as healthy as they've been since the very beginning of the season. They feel good about it.
And they'll have to be, because they're the number 6 seed in the American Football Conference, and that means they'll have to win 3 games during the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl here on the 29th of January. All of them on the road. Now, the Chiefs have been to the playoffs 5 consecutive years. That's the longest current streak in the National Football League. But 2 years ago, they went out and got Joe Montana and Marcus Allen to get them to the Super Bowl. As you take a look at Montana, last year they got to the AFC Championship game. So time is essential right now. Montana 38, Allen is 34. Nobody's ever played better in postseason than Joe. And as far as Marcus is concerned, last week a tremendous day against the Raiders. He carried the ball 33 times to match a career high. Look for him to get the ball almost as much today. They will be the keys to Kansas City's playoff future. And they take on Miami, Dan, and I know one thing about the Dolphins. They'll simply take the same result they got here on the 12th of December in that Monday night game.
You're right. They'll take the same score, and they'll take some of the things that happened they'd like to see happen again. Some of them, Al, they'd like to make go away. In that ball game, the Miami Dolphins did some things that, well, they haven't done consistently well all season. Some they have. First of all, the running attack. They got 127 yards out of Bernie Parmalee. Now, there's a guy that you don't expect to dominate the other team, but he dominated the Chiefs in running the football against them. Now, the Miami run defense all year long has been playing very, very well. They set a club record for the least number of yards allowed. A couple reasons there. Brian Cox moved into the middle. Tim Bowens has really emerged as a budding superstar. He won the AP Defensive Rookie of the Year. But what they did bad that they want to correct is that they allowed a kickoff return to John Vaughn of the Chiefs for a touchdown. In their game against the Indianapolis Colts the next week, they allowed a punt return for a touchdown. And then in their season finale against Detroit that both Al and Frank mentioned, they gave up another kickoff return. 3 returns in 3 weeks for the Miami Dolphins. They cannot afford mistakes like that in a playoff atmosphere.
And it's a beautiful day. Temperature in the upper 70s. Clear skies, no threat of rain. Joe Robbie Stadium filled to capacity, as it will be 4 weeks from tomorrow for Super Bowl 29. Joe Montana comes back to Joe Robbie Stadium, the site of one of his great triumphs. It was here following the '88 season. He hit John Taylor in the end zone on the game-winning drive to defeat the Cincinnati Bengals. So now Joe at the age of 38, and the subject of speculation as to how much longer he'll play. He said, I haven't decided. We asked Marty Schottenheimer for his gut feeling last night, and the Chiefs coach said, I haven't talked about it with him, but I would bet against his retiring.
Don't you wish he could play forever?
Yes.
Well, and I think Marty actually feels that, but let's be realistic. There's a certain amount of wishful thinking in that statement as well.
Absolutely.
He needs Joe Montana to come back as long as he is still a productive football player, and he is.
The Chiefs and the Dolphins 4 years ago, they played a very dramatic wild card game in the same stadium, which the Dolphins won 17-16. And on Christmas Day of '71, they played the longest game in NFL history, 82 minutes 40 seconds in Kansas City. Garo Yepremian won it on a field goal. Pete Stoyanovich to kick off, and John Vaughn is back to receive. John Vaughn, who ran that kickoff back for a touchdown 3 weeks ago, came over about a month ago from the Seattle Seahawks.
Kickoffs and punts, they are not taken for granted here in Miami. Everybody in this stadium is on pins and needles.
And Stoyanovich with a beauty, and Vaughn won't even have a chance to run it back.
You think he might be pumped up, Stoyanovich?
Well, that's the best kick coverage possible. The Chiefs take over at the 20. Montana had a hot start this year, then plateaued, then sprained his foot, but came back strong the last 2 weeks. He has Marcus Allen and Kimball Anders behind him. Anders catches a lot of passes. Burton and Davis, the wideouts. Walker, the tight end. And up front, we'll take a look at that in a moment on 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. And they begin with Marcus Allen, and we'll see this a lot today. And the Chiefs hope they see that play a lot today. A 9-yard pickup tackled by Jesse Solomon. The guys who will lead the way up front and provide the protection for Joe Montana. Alt, Zott, Grunhardt's had a fine year at center, Shields, and Graham. Defensively now, Miami, Cross, Tim Bowen's a great-looking rookie from Mississippi, Klingbeil and Coleman the front four. Beavers a rookie, Cox and Solomon are the backers. And Vincent and Brown at the corners, Stewart, the former Ram, Atkins, the former Saint, are the safeties. Here is Marcus Allen. And out to the 37, so they pick up right where they left off last week against the Raiders. Atkins makes the tackle.
Marcus Allen carried the football 33 times against the Raiders last week for 132 yards, and Marty Schottenheimer had a great line. He said, well, I'm certainly not saving Marcus for anything. He tries to pace him pretty well during the regular season, but during playoff time, Greg Hill is going to spend more time on the bench. Marcus Allen, more time on the field.
Montana looking to throw for the first time. His first pass is complete, and Kimball Anders makes the catch and turns it back inside. He is tackled by Aubrey Beavers, the rookie linebacker out of Oklahoma.
Anders working well out of the backfield. The leading receiver with 67 receptions over the course of the season. And Dan, going back to Marcus Allen, I played this game at 34 years old, and I couldn't walk for a week after I got hit 3 or 4 times as a wide receiver. He is truly a remarkable athletic specimen.
I think 33 carries would test the stamina of a 24-year-old, much less a 34-year-old.
On 2nd and 4, this is Kimball Anders, the up back, who just caught the last pass, taking it out to the 46-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1, a long one. Marty Schottenheimer, through the course of the game, one of the
is that a good guess, Al?
in the league, he's one of the few. It is. I can tell it was Marty. He's one of the few head coaches that writes a lot of notes during the course of the game.
Oh, I see.
This is 3rd and short, but for Kansas City, this is Pat's territory. The pass game is like their run game.
Third and a short 2, and Montana will go to the air, and Montana lofts one into the secondary, and it's caught by Marcus Allen. First down at the Miami's 39, tackled by Atkins.
Atkins can't believe that a hit of that magnitude didn't jar the ball loose. He timed the hit on Marcus Allen perfectly, and how Marcus held onto the football, I'm not sure, Frank.
Yeah, he's lost a few over the years, but watch the way he clutches it right to the chest. He catches it right up against the chest, pulls it in as quickly as he can. You saw him a moment ago when he ran the sweep to the right, the 49 or whatever they call it. He was covering it up the same way.
Boy, Atkins hits Allen, hits the ball, and still can't get it loose.
First and 10 at the 39-yard line. That was Lake Dawson, number 80 in motion. Montana with great protection. Hits Anders. And Anders, their leading receiver during the regular year. He caught 67 balls, makes his second catch. He's taken down by Troy Vincent, and a most impressive opening drive by the Chiefs.
You know, this is what we didn't see 3 weeks ago with Steve Bono. Taking nothing away from Bono, that was a 3-deep read by Montana. He looked downfield, looked for one man, another man. He knew exactly where Anders was going to be when the other receivers were covered. Anders waving the hands, getting the ball. Good drive.
At the 24. Here's Marcus Allen. Picks up about 2. Last week, the Chiefs scored on their opening drive against the Raiders. In fact, Montana hit Davis a couple of minutes into the game, and they never looked back. And Kansas City this season with 7 touchdowns on their first drives of games, quite in contrast to the Dolphins, who went an entire season and scored 1 touchdown in the first quarter last week.
Yeah, and that was on, ironically enough, the opening drive of the game against the Lions. And there's Don Shula with his new little zip cart over on the sideline. The golf cart's gone, a personalized cart.
A play of the drive. On second down and 8. Montana slings one. It's caught by J.J. Burton, and he should have a first down. Takes it just inside the 14-yard line.
Well, one of the things the Dolphins have had trouble doing, and not just against Kansas City, but against everybody, is mounting a consistent pass rush. And so far in this opening drive against Joe Montana and the Chiefs, they are not putting any pressure on Montana whatsoever. Frank mentioned the fact that he goes from 1 to 2 to 3 different receivers, and that is a prescription to lose the ball game if you give Joe Montana the ability to survey the field to that extent.
The Chiefs with 4 first downs on the game's opening drive. On first and 10, the fake to Allen. Montana surveying and throwing, and the catch is made at the 2 by Derek Walker.
You can't do that. I mean, that was absolutely beautiful. Montana right at the sidelines. I thought he was going to throw it away. He had the ball where only his receiver, Derek Walker, who is a 6-foot target out of Michigan, I might point out, Dan, not one of your taller
no, he's not.
tight ends, but Montana put that ball where only Walker could handle it.
Tom Olivadotti there on the left. The defensive coordinator of the Dolphins, Joe Green, on the right. Again, that's beautiful footwork along the side by Walker, and of course a perfect delivery. Joe Valerio is in. He's on the left side as a tight end,
and he's caught 2 touchdown passes. They give it to Marcus Allen, and he gets turned back just shy of the goal line. It'll be second and goal. He's pushed back by Craig Vesey.
Allen, of course, is their short yardage man. He has a knack for, like few players that have ever played this game. He has 7 rushing touchdowns coming into the game. They like him on short yardage. He is a heady player. We already watched him, the way he holds on to the football. He won't get you in trouble.
I believe Marcus has like 98 rushing touchdowns during the course of his career. Another 22 receiving.
They have Will Shields, a guard, as the fullback in the backfield, and Montana throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Derek Walker.
Well, Miami was thinking like we were thinking, Dan. You play fake to Marcus Allen, send him in the line, you slip Walker into the back of the end zone, 6 points.
And you know why Walker was open? Because Joe Valerio, the offensive guard who was playing the tight end position with a couple of touchdown catches, he released out into the pattern. 2 of the Dolphins trail with him, and Walker ends up being in the open.
Well, that's a classy drive.
Joe Valerio can go home and tell everybody, I'm such a dreaded receiver that I'm a decoy.
Once again, no pass pressure.
Lynn Elliott for the extra point, and it's a low kick, but it does go through.
That should only be good for half a point.
7-0.
That's an ugly.
The calendar may say 1994, but Joe Montana just made it look like 1984. Perfect drive.
This quarter brought to you by GMC Trucks, the strength of experience.
Only one company could take a flowing ergonomic interior. Add to it Love soft leather. Combine it with smooth riding suspensions and a Vortec V6 engine. Then encase it all in 3,000 pounds of GMC truck strength. Introducing the all-new Jimmy. To get your hands on this combination, see your GMC truck dealer.
We're on the way. You're needed, and you can't let a cold get in the way. Hall's Mentholyptus with vapor action helps relieve sore throat, coughing, and nasal congestion. You can trust Hall's to help you cope with a cold.
Sure, it's got a couple of dings and dents. But let's face it, rain or shine, I work this truck every day. It's as tight and powerful as the day I bought it. Geez, that was over 11 years ago. I just wish Barb would stop asking me when I'm going to trade it in. Trade it in? It's not even broken in.
Over the long haul, nothing beats the strength of experience.
Danny Villa is the snapper. Watch the horrible snap. Great job by Louis Aguiar of getting it in there. And then look at this thing coming right at us off the toe of Lynn Elliott.
We got a $100,000 camera up there, too. That just whisked right by.
Oh, yeah. Don't knock that baby off the goalpost.
If we're going to lose that camera, make it on a game-winning field goal, not on the first extra point of the afternoon.
There's Joe Valerio that pulled some of the Miami defense with him, opening it up for Derek Walker. And boy, Al, you said it. What a trip back in time that drive was for Joe Montana and the Chiefs.
Here's Aguiar now as Miami gets ready to take the ball for the first time. This is O.J. McDuffie taking it from the 4-yard line out past the 20. And then tackled up at the 28-yard line. John Vaughn with the stop. So Marino and the Dolphins take over after Montana goes 80 yards in 11 plays to give the Chiefs the early lead.
Road handling, acceleration, turning radius. We debated how much to tell you about the new Pontiac Sunfire. In the end, we decided to keep it simple. The new Pontiac Sunfire, built for drivers.
Hey guys, we got a problem. Stores everywhere selling our clothes. NFL Pro Line?
Oh, great. Now everyone can look like us.
Big deal. Who could have a pass for us? Oh gosh, what if they fool the press?
There I was, 4th and goal.
And wearing Pro Line's probably gonna get them right on the field, right? Maybe I'm taking this whole thing a little too serious.
Come on, we can take these guys.
Steve? NFL Pro Line. Wear what the pros wear.
You feel like walking on the wild side?
Only one company could take a flowing ergonomic interior. Add to it Love soft leather. Combine it with smooth riding suspensions and a Vortec V6 engine. Then encase it all in 3,000 pounds of GMC truck strength. Introducing the all-new Jimmy. To get your hands on this combination, see your GMC truck dealer.
Dave Barry's a funny guy.
He is so silly.
Check him out on Dave's World. Global's got it Monday at 8:30.
Like to snap me with a towel, that will make my experience complete.
Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, the site of Super Bowl 29, coming up 4 weeks from tomorrow, and the Dolphins trying to get there. The Dolphins and the Chiefs, AFC wildcard game. Miami has it for the first time in the game. 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. And Dan Marino retreats. Throws, and it's incomplete. Good coverage by the secondary. Bernie Parmalee was the intended receiver, and Neil Smith sends Marino right to the turf. Let's take a look at the offense now. Dan Marino, statistically, this was his best season since 1986. Parmalee, a wonderful story. We'll get into it. In the backfield with Saxon. Fryer and McDuffie are the wideouts. Keith Jackson is the tight end. Webb and Sims terrific on the left side with Dellenbach, Widener, and Ron Heller, who was questionable before the game with a shoulder, is starting. And he'll have his hands full with Neil Smith much of the day. On 2nd and 10. The catch is made. Saxon, the fullback, and a former Chief takes it out to the 38, close to a first down. One guy Miami is minus today is Mark Ingram with a sprained ankle. The receiver is inactive. Now the Kansas City defensive unit. And they play a base 4-3. Smith now healthy again with Phillips, Saliamua, and Mickle. The linebackers, the great Derek Thomas with Simeon and Jamison, who's now healthy again. The secondary, Collins made the big play last week, the interception against Hostetler to turn the game around. Carter on the other side with Whitmore and White. 3rd down and 1 at the 38-yard line. And a little misdirection results in a first down as Parmalee takes the ball across the 40 to the 41-yard line behind a James Saxon block.
Boy, an interesting call, Dan. They go to the right side when you would expect them to go to the Pro Bowl side. Richmond, Webb, and Keith Sims over on the left side. They go right to Ron Heller, who was questionable as of this morning. Big opening.
A huge opening on the right-hand side. Al mentioned Saxon's block. Heller got a good one. And for Ron Heller, it's his left shoulder. And this is really going to affect him when Neil Smith or whomever is across from him tries to go to his inside. Does he have the strength to push them off?
On 1st and 10, here's Parmalee. Bernie breaking tackles into Kansas City territory. Run down at the 43 by William White. The type of running he exhibited 19 days ago against these same Chiefs.
But again, Ron Heller with a block at the line of scrimmage that enabled Parmalee to pop to the outside. And he was a question mark coming into this game. I know Don Shula wasn't planning on him last night, but he just mowed them down the line of scrimmage. Watching number 73.
One of the league's tough guys is Ron Heller. Keep in mind now, this is a guy that yesterday could not raise that arm to even parallel to the ground. He couldn't raise it that far. Yet today, here he is starting in a playoff game.
Marino slings it to the near side. The catch is made at the 36 by Irving Fryer.
The thing for Heller is it's going to be hard for him when Neil Smith wants to go back to the inside. I just don't know that he's going to have the strength to push him off. And if Neil Smith is smart, he's going to try to take advantage of that. But he told Don Shula this morning, Coach, I'm going to play. I haven't played football my entire life to miss a playoff game.
Well, you lose this one today, you got a long time to think about it.
Yeah. Of course, if the shoulder's not enough of a problem, how about number 90 there in the red helmet?
2nd and 2 at the 35. Chiefs leading 7-0, 5:45 left in the quarter. Parmalee, room to roam on the outside, takes it to the 27, and a marker is down. The first flag of the game. You saw Mark Collins indicating offensive holding. Jerry Markbright is the referee, and that is the call.
Thought that hole looked pretty big over there.
That's why,
I guess.
Someone had a good grip. Quick glance at Gary Stevens. He makes the calls, of course, offensively for Miami. His 6th year with Miami. Prior to that, 9 years, University of Miami, right here.
Holding number 22, offense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's tough when you do it out of the backfield. You are so visible. We pick up Saxon on the hold.
Well, he had the wonderful block on their first play off to the right side. The reason Don likes that card is he can move it to wherever he wants, but then he can stand up and lean on it. There he is. There's a shot of him, how he likes to lean against it. Imagine a man of Shula's accomplishments and inner drive being confined to that cart because of that Achilles surgery.
And he will be for another month or more. 2nd and 12. Parmalee. Not much happening through the middle. He's stopped there by Doug Terry. The Dolphins this season led the league in offense. What does that mean? Well, the NFL equates offensive leadership with most yards. So even though the 49ers scored more than 100 points more than the Dolphins outgained the 49ers and thus ranked number 1.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and 10 for Miami.
So in other words, choose your statistics carefully.
You bet. 3rd down and 10. The Chiefs rush 5. Marino's protected well, and he finds the open open man. That's Mike Williams. But he loses the football, and Dale Carter is there for Kansas City.
Are they? I don't see anybody pointing down.
Not yet.
Normally, you get an official runs right up to that spot and is pointing to the
Now they're
ground.
saying he was down.
Darren Anderson.
Down by contest.
There you go.
Darren Anderson dislodged the ball, but not until the play had already been blown dead.
Oh, the key to that again, that took so long for Williams to come open. And as Marty Schottenheimer told us, they just build a wall around Marino. He gets the ball off, and you can see he's clearly down before the ball was stripped out.
Yeah.
But great pass protection for Dan Marino.
Jerry Markwright and his crew all over this one. His left knee, I think, is the first one to go down right there. And the ball doesn't come out until he's all the way over. That wasn't even close.
And that pass blocking was with 4 wide receivers. That meant the corners were very short for Kansas City. They still could not get to him.
First down at the 24. Under 4 minutes to go in the quarter. 7-0 Chiefs. Marino drops it underneath for Irving Fryer. And Fryer then laterals the ball to Sexton, who takes it inside the 2.
All right.
Fasten your seatbelts, folks. I think we're getting a preview of what kind of an afternoon this is going to be.
Kansas City in their patented zone defense. Great call. Fryer underneath, coming way from the left side. Marino, again with good protection, is able to get it into him. But again, lots of time. There's Fryer underneath the zone. And now he'll get hit first by Whitmore, and just as Whitmore closes on him, he delivers the lateral and goes out to Saxon.
And I'm sorry, that's not the trademark of a Don Shula team, and we've seen it twice our last 2 visits here.
First and goal. Here's Parmalee, and he gets about half the distance, or a little less. Tracy Rogers, 52, came in to bang him.
Don Shula's teams do not throw the football all over the field to each other like reminiscent of the old Atlanta Falcons when Deion Sanders was there.
If you throw it, Dan, and it causes a turnover, you're no longer on the team.
No, you're at the airport. We saw it the first time we were here. Gene Atkins intercepted the ball and flipped it to Troy Vincent. And now we've got who knows?
Second down goal. Parmalee again. Touchdown, Miami.
We've got somebody from Miami down at the goal line.
Well, this one is living up to the billboards.
Greg Beatty is the injured player, the backup tight end. Well, Montana takes Kansas City 80, and Marino says, well, I'll answer with a 72-yard drive.
What a block by Keith Sims, the left guard. There's a double team on Dan Saliamua, and they just eradicate the Chiefs' defensive line, and Bernie gets another one. Knows there's a lot of football left to be played, but good opening drive for the Dolphins. They countered the splendid one by the Chiefs.
Beatty comes off the field. Now Stojanovic for the point after.
Beatty appears to be all right.
John Kidd to hold it. And with 2:20 remaining in the first quarter, this one was billed as Marino against Montana. How's that for an opening act?
Hey, who's that? It's nobody we know. It's Hank. Never thought he'd trade in his old GMC. He had that baby for years. Worked it every day. Wow, look at this machine. Pretty roomy. You can really stretch out in this. Pretty fancy, Hank. Got a whole new interior. And an airbag, too.
The 1995 Sierra.
It won't let me in. It says I have to take off my boots first.
Starting January 7th, we're giving away $110,000 in Ontario.
In the Bud Super Bowl payoff.
Buy and match and win cards in 24s of Bud.
Or for contest details and no purchase entry, dial 1-800-566-2682.
Then catch NFL playoff games right here on Global.
In each game, if your game card matches the one we show, you could win $10,000.
So play the Bud Super Bowl payoff.
Or next time, it's your kneecaps.
We had every intention of taking you through a list of all the standard features available on the new Pontiac Sunfire. But there was one thing we wanted to tell you first. The new Pontiac Sunfire, built for drivers.
Fly the funny skies of wings.
Is everybody on this island nuts? Have you seen this hat?
Global's got it. Tuesday at 8.
I can't wait to go.
Spectacular shot of Joe Robbie Stadium, a facility that opened in 1987 and named for the late Dolphin owner. The Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, based in Pompano Beach, providing the aerials. And there's a Happy New Year greeting from one Neil Smith with the ever-present nose Band-Aid. I wonder what Elsa Clench would say about that.
I think Neil would say the greeting would be a lot friendlier if it wasn't for the fact that Dan Marino and the Dolphins just went right down the field on him, and we'll check in with Elsa later.
Stoyanovic's kick is dropped out of bounds by John Vaughn. It'll be Kansas City ball, but inside the 20. So the Dolphins go down the field on their first possession. 72 yards. Marino was 4 of 5. 7-7 the score.
Green. Go. Now, this is a new thing. I don't know if you're aware of it. A lot of people going through the greens now. Speed it up a little bit. Watch it as a woman. It says yield there, Jim. What didn't you understand in there? I don't want to tell you to drive, but you should have went left. Guy in a bike. Guy in a bike. Well, what is this driving all of a sudden? Slow it, Jim, please. Hey, not watch it. Park car!
Actual footage of a Pontiac Grand Am driver as a passenger.
Killing me.
Pontiac Grand Am. Built for drivers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the capital of the wonderful land of Canadian cheese. On your left is the fabulous Fontina Fountain. Note its watermelon brochettes. And here it comes, the magnificent Monterey Jack Monument. And our national garden alive with fresh Colby and blue cheese. Finally, we have the Golden Gouda Palace. Don't forget our delicious cheeses at our souvenir shop.
Welcome to the land of Canadian cheese.
Kramer has his priorities.
I'm going out with one of the Miss America contestants. You want to go? What state?
Get your priorities straight. Watch Seinfeld Thursday at 9 on Global.
But we haven't come across any Kampucheans who want the Vietnamese to go now. These people dread the ruin of Zimbabwe.
Ground fighting. The communist drive towards Saigon continues.
Arrives here, but the Soviet withdrawal has begun. South Armagh. And the remote possibility of positive activity.
There's no substitute for experience. Now there's no need to wait until 11 for national news. Join Peter Kent on the First National, weeknights at 6:30 on the Global Television Network.
The Chiefs trying to stay cool. They'd be very cool if they were home. We understand 1 to 3 inches of snow expected today in Kansas City. But here in Miami, things are beautiful. Marcus Allen and Joe Montana led that first drive, but now Greg Hill, the rookie from Texas A&M, is in the game at the 17-yard line. Montana retreats, throws, and the catch is made by Keith Cash, who's been hurt much of the season. Healthy now, a vital part of their movement in the playoffs last year, catches it here. Let's get an update from Lynn Swan. Lynn?
Al, thank you very much. You know, before the game started, I talked to both quarterbacks, Marino and Montana. Marino saying this is the only place he wanted to be. His health was fine. Montana said they wanted him to wear a knee brace before this game. He injured it last week. He said there's no way he was going to wear the brace. He said he approaches each game in the playoffs like it's the last game of the season, and you never want to go home a winner. A loser, that is, Al.
He is 7 for 7 is Montana for 80 yards. Pressure. He dumps it off. It is a forward pass, unless an incomplete pass, and it's Brian Cox who made his presence felt. Used to play outside linebacker, and earlier this season they moved him into the middle.
Oh, he got away with one there. Anders was, excuse me, the intended receiver.
You don't see that very often. Brian Cox lined up over center and loops all the way around and gets in on Joe Montana. Where you see Brian Cox coming in there from the right side, he started all the way over center. Really an unusual move by Olivedade and the Dolphins defense.
A minute and a half to go in the quarter. The game is tied at 7. It's 2nd and 10. Marcus Allen back in the game and carries out to the 43-yard line. Tackled by Stewart. ABC's wild card playoff game is at their own 43. Joe to throw. Catch is made by Anders. And it's a first down and a lot more. Cox trying to bump him down. And he's still running. And those missed tackles have just killed the Dolphins. He broke out of a tackle by Cox. He broke out of another tackle earlier. A 57-yard touchdown. Montana to Anders.
Oh, wow. Anders, the leading receiver. You can see why. He's a running back, and once he gets his hands on it, he turns it into something big. Breaking tackles down the sideline.
Well, Beavers had the initial coverage, and Beavers is too far to the inside. Yeah, but here's the one that really hurts.
And there's Troy Vincent,
and that's Brian Cox.
Brian Cox, who does not take Anders off his feet.
Cox didn't even try to wrap him up. Brian Cox goes for the shoulder blow, thinking he's going to knock him down. No attempt to wrap up, and that proved fatal.
Lynn Elliott for the point after. This time the snap is good. Aguiar puts it down. And so the Chiefs have had the ball twice and have scored twice.
When you tackle, you have got to use your arm to wrap up. I think we're going to see Brian Cox right here. It's more like a block. He just puts the shoulder into him. It wasn't enough shoulder.
Future Pontiac Grand Prix driver. Pontiac Grand Prix. Built for drivers.
So I'm channel surfing when it occurs to me, I wouldn't mind hitting one of those fashion TV shows in Paris. You know, I'd find out what's in, find out what's out. That'd be cool. And who knows, maybe someone over there would appreciate the enduring qualities of a true Canadian lager. Hey, trendy colors come and go. Me, I prefer blue.
Always give credit where credit is due.
They say there's been some unusual activity on your accounts. But I haven't used my card in weeks. That is the unusual activity.
Charge up your evening with laughs. Friends, Global's got it Thursday at 8:30.
This quarter brought to you by GMC Trucks, the strength of experience.
The Miami defense getting together on the sidelines, and that's the type of a run by Kimball Anders after the catch that demoralizes the defense because of all the missed tackles. And superior effort by Anders. There was a good throw by Montana to get the thing started, but dismal tackling by the Miami Dolphins defense.
Lynn Elliott sends it to the 4-yard line. Irving spikes. Breaks the tackle. And then takes it out to the 42-yard line. Anthony Davis makes the stop after Saxon couldn't wrap him up at the 18, and a good block by O.J. McDuffie.
Again, here's another look at the beautiful outside positioning on the football from Montana. Frankie Smith, 29. There's his miss, but Brian Cox inexplicably doesn't wrap up, Frank.
And he did, and he knocked him right out of the arms of the intended tackle by Troy Vincent.
Joe,
you got to wrap those arms around.
Hey, I didn't plan on it, but I'll take it. That looked more like just a 7- or 8-yard completion. Ended up being a touchdown.
Now Marino begins to counter by hitting Saxon, and the former Chief gets it out to the 49. That's a pickup of 7.
O.J. McDuffie comes in there throwing himself around, trying to make a block downfield. Boy, you can tell it's a playoff football game. The intensity all around the field has just elevated several notches.
And McDuffie threw a nice block on the kick run back as well.
Look at McDuffie. That's Derek Thomas he levels.
A 6-time Pro Bowler, and he took him right out of it.
O.J. McDuffie, all of 5'10", 191.
Great quarter. Kansas City 14, Miami 7. And back we come after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Do you dream in color? In
bottomless blues and screaming yellows, in sounds that shake you to the bottom of your heart, in images clear as crystal and brilliant as ice, in faraway worlds as close as your fingertips. These are what dreams and Sony Trinitron televisions are made of. Make one come true for you. It's your life. Isn't it worth a Sony?
It's a crisis. We have a contract to replace thousands of defective doors. The Dominion Door Company's reputation is at stake.
We promise to deliver our doors to every good merchant from here to the Pacific.
What are we going to do?
Fastest flight.
I beg your pardon?
Well, fastest flight is economical and reliable. They have their own personnel providing door-to-door service.
Expedited service. Good show.
And fastest flight delivers on time or free. It's guaranteed.
Accepting yourself as a mature adult means eating a nutritious cereal and realizing part of you still cries, "Gimme frosting!" But that's okay. We can overcome these urges. We can downplay fat and salt as long as we repress our feelings about taste. I want taste!
Easy! With Kellogg's Mini Wheats, you can have it all. For the adult in you, whole grain wheat, low in fat and no added salt. For the kid in you, lightly frosted, great taste.
I'm glad I've analyzed what I really want. The frosting!
Derek Thomas was spending a little time over on the Kansas City sideline because of this. O.J. McDuffie on the right. Derek Thomas, not often you see a wide receiver tee off on a linebacker like that. And Derek, it hurt him. He took some time to gather himself.
2nd and 2 from the 50 as the second quarter begins with a Bernie Parmalee 1-yard gain. Second quarter, 14-7. Chiefs on top. Al Michaels with Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf, and Lynn Swann. AFC wildcard game in Miami. Earlier today, Green Bay advances in the NFC. They beat Detroit 16-12, and here are the numbers through the first 15 minutes of play.
Yeah, didn't come in late for this one.
No, and Brent and Dick, we really wanted to be there, but unfortunately we had to be down here.
I want Brent's hat.
You can see domination yardage-wise going to the Kansas City Chiefs and to the scoreboard as well, where they've doubled them up.
3rd and 1 at the Chiefs' 49-yard line. Nice block to protect Marino, and the catch is made by Keith Jackson, and the tight end has a first down at the 29-yard line. Neil Smith put the pressure on, and Dan got the block he needed to continue the protection and pick up 20 on the throw.
Well, we're getting some great calls from the coordinators. Gary Stevens with that call. Either that or Dan changed it off. It was 3rd and real short yardage. You've got to figure they're going to go for a little bit of a play action, and Keith Jackson, their leading receiver, is wide open. But again, they have nobody getting close to Dan Marino on any of the pass plays.
It's Bernie Parmalee, I believe, that makes the block on Neil Smith that puts him down on the ground, that bought him that time. And that's a lot of pressure to put on a running back because Smith is unblocked on the play and handed over to the back.
There's a toss back to Parmalee. And Bernie burrows to the 26-yard line. Tackled by Dan Saliamua.
Parmalee. It's a good thing Parmalee came along like he did. And there's Gary Stevens, the offensive coordinator, and that is Bernie Kosar, who is talking to Dan Marino, who obviously says, I can't hear it. They have had some problems here in the Miami area with the frequency. As a matter of fact, we've been told that sometimes, well, I don't know whether they're kidding or not, they've been picking up a pizza parlor.
Oh, this is, boy, they'll be going wild now.
Kenneth, what's the frequency? That's 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. Marino throws, and the catch is made by Irving Fryer. A little bit of trivia. When you think of Irving, he's been around long enough. When he played with New England in the Super Bowl against Chicago in 1985, at the end of that season, January of '86, he scored New England's only touchdown in what was a 46-10 Chicago rout.
Mark Collins, single coverage. Marino reads it. Fryer reads it. Collins is pretty good man-to-man. He doesn't have great speed. He has great smarts. Of course, he's wearing a couple Super Bowl rings from the Giants, but he was stuck out there on an island against Fryer, who's having a great year.
3rd and 4 at the 23, early second quarter. Chiefs lead 14-7. Marino with that quick release, and the pass is incomplete. McDuffie looks for a flag. Dale Carter with the blanket coverage. No flag.
Dale Carter on the way to the Pro Bowl in his third year. Rookie of the year back in '92 and moved from left corner to right corner when Albert Lewis went to the Raiders, and having a good year. He'll play you very tight because he's got good ability and he can certainly hold well too.
He kept that right hand on the back of McDuffie's jersey.
Now Stoyanovich for what will be a 40-yard field goal attempt. John Kidd will put it down. And Pete, one of the most accurate of all time, booms it through. 40-yard field goal. 12:15 left in the first half at Joe Robbie Stadium. Chiefs 14, Dolphins 10.
Okay, this is a message for you and you and you about getting them and her to buy you a computer. Because you can't just throw one in the shopping cart when they aren't looking. Now, the thing you'll notice right away about this new computer is this, and this, and this. But the thing to stress to them is this, and this, and this. Even though this one doesn't cost much more than computers that aren't and don't and won't. Oh, and did I mention it can talk?
I am Aptiva.
And sing and dance?
I am Aptiva.
All right, we're working on it.
You know you can quit smoking. Maybe all you need is a little help. Then why not ask your pharmacist for Nicorette nicotine chewing pieces, or call for more information.
A friend told me Nicorette didn't work for him, but, you know, I just don't think he was using it right, because it sure worked for me.
With proper use, Nicorette helps keep a steady level of nicotine in your bloodstream, helping take away the cravings for a cigarette.
At first, the taste surprised me, you know, for a gum. But it worked so well for me, I just got used to it.
If you've got the will, Nicorette could be the way. Just call, or better yet, ask your pharmacist for Nicorette.
Murphy said that if anything can go wrong, it will. Murphy probably didn't use Valvoline motor oil. People who know use Valvoline.
Last night, Don Shula said to us, in 32 years of coaching, I can't remember ever having 3 consecutive games in which my team gave up a kick or punt return for a touchdown. We had to say, Don, there it is. No team in the history of the NFL had allowed returns for touchdowns in 3 straight games.
He's had to move his personnel around a lot. Parmley was one of the great special teams players. He's playing now as an offensive running back. They've had to make a lot of moves like that.
How do you think?
They've lost key people on that special teams.
How do you think the special teams coach Mike Westhoff slept last night? Huh? You think he a little tossing and turning?
This guy keep you up. Stoyanovich kicks to Vaughn, who fumbled the last return, and John Vaughn brings it back out to the 28-yard line, and a scuffle ensues.
Just a little jousting. That's all that is.
Mini joust.
Locked up and jousting.
Mike Westhoff, the Dolphins special teams coach. Here's a reminder tonight in prime time, New Year's Eve, the Flintstones, Yabba Dabba Doo, the ABC Family movie, followed by The Commish. And then tomorrow, JN1, America's Home Videos, the 1-hour special, Lois and Clark in a Dangerous Affair. Happy New Year 1995 tomorrow.
What we have going on here, a dangerous little affair between the Chiefs and the Dolphins.
Marcus Allen takes it up to the 31. That's a gain of 3.
Frank, what do you think that was with Marcus when we saw him in the first quarter over in the side? It looked like they were stretching out his back. I wonder if it's affecting him at all.
He's had a little back problem over the years. It goes with, you know, post 30 years. They were working on the sacroiliac, and he's something he's perfectly comfortable with. We're not going to lose him because of that, I'm sure.
You can see there that Marcus went a long time between 100-yard games all the way back to 1988.
Over 6 years between 100-yard games, and what a day to do it, too, against his ex-mates in a critical game. This time he is stopped for next to no gain by Tim Bowens, who was selected as the AP
Be All You Can Be
Rookie of the Year last week. Joe Green, his position coach.
And mentor, first-round draft pick. He's been something.
I think there's a little pride there on Joe Green's part. Not bad there, huh? Touchdowns, both drives, 80 and 83 yards.
Yeah, but Montana is not concerned at all with any pass pressure, and the Dolphins, who have not been getting to the passer all year, are not getting even near him.
Crowd in a frenzy on 3rd and 6. Montana sets up the screen for Kimball Anders, and that's another Chiefs first down before Gene Atkins finally stops him. Dave Zott with a great block. The ball was down before the fumble.
Boy, Kansas City really having their way with the Miami defense, and they're mixing it up beautifully. The calls by Paul Hackett, that a little screen pass, and Miami's so concerned with getting the pass rush that they lack. They don't come into tonight with 29 sacks, and they're trying to get a pass rush, and they give up the screen, a big screen.
What a good block, as Al said, by Dave Zott, the left guard. The center, Grunhard, was downfield. Will Shields, the right guard, was in on it as well. Good running, good downfield blocking by the Chiefs offensive line.
You saw Hackett behind the glass. Montana throws. Burton makes the catch, but he was out of bounds. Incomplete. J.J. Burton covered on the play by J.B. Brown. 2nd and 10.
Not all that well either. Brown gives him a huge cushion. This ball is just thrown a little too far to the outside by Joe.
A little late.
Yeah.
And he had good protection. First bad pass of the afternoon for Montana.
He does a nice job of catching it with his left toe, but the right foot was already on the out-of-bounds line.
10 minutes left in the half. Kansas City leads 13-10, and Greg Hill picks up the first down. The rookie out of Texas A&M, and now a flag goes down after the play.
Are you going to get one bonehead award to Gene Atkins, who throws a punch? You know, they're locked up and jousting again, but Gene Atkins throws a right hand and gets seen. He's going with Willie Davis. The best the Dolphins can hope for here, I think, is that it's offsetting personal fouls.
And no ejection.
Well, it's neither punch was designed to hurt anybody, but it's something you don't do and get caught doing.
Well, it's an open field punch, too.
Atkins was one of the players that Olivedati really wanted. He brought him in from New Orleans. You'll see it, number 28. And Hill trying to break it to the outside.
See, there they are right there. There's one, there's two, there's three. But here comes the biggie. There's the one that gets called. Atkins and Davis both.
Open hand, though.
You're not going to close it up, or you're going to blow a finger.
He didn't have a thumbless glove.
We have 2 dead ball fouls. Unnecessary roughness, 28 on Miami.
Give me your number, Willie.
And 84.
84, Kansas City.
There you are.
Dead ball fouls, offsetting dead ball. It'll be first down.
Yeah, and that's looking at the way that Willie Davis participated. That's the only way to call it from an officiating standpoint. But you don't do your team any good, guys, if you're ejected from this thing.
Lamar Hunt, the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, one of the original AFL owners, and a classy man right down the line.
One of the nice people of all time. Chiefs offense averaging almost 10 yards a play. Pretty lofty.
And a first down here. Montana guns one to the open man at the 23-yard line. J.J. Burton makes the catch and takes it to the 21.
That might put them over 10 yards a play. With
Burton picking up where he left off 3 weeks ago. He had 10 receptions for over 130 yards here in the losing effort on the part of Kansas City, December the 12th. He has the speed to take it deep. You have to respect him. This time he just breaks under the Miami zone. Gets away from J.B. Brown and Gene Atkins.
How was my quick math, guys? He is over 10 on that, huh? I know one thing. It doesn't take quick math to tell you that the Miami Dolphins are generating no pass rush whatsoever.
First down for the 21. Montana drops it off to Allen. That's a pickup of 5, tackled by Aubrey Beavers.
Right now, if you're Tom Olivedati, the defensive coordinator, and geez, I say it, there he is. You have got to be thinking to yourself, what do I have to do? Because my front 4 are not getting to the quarterback on their own. Do I blitz off the corners, up the middle?
Well, Dan, the first thing would come to your mind, why can't you blitz? I'll tell you, you blitz till Montana, you were flirting with a disaster.
Yeah.
They pick it up well. He reads it as quickly as anyone ever has in this game. Hurry up with the call, he says.
Only 2 incompletions out of 13 attempts.
On 2nd and 5, Marcus Allen takes it down inside the 11. That's a first down. Another one on the 8th play of this drive. Chuck Klingbeil makes the tackle.
Chiefs were in this position against the Raiders, and Greg Hill, who was in the game at the time, fumbled the ball. I would suspect that Marcus Allen will do the majority of the work down around the goal line today as Hill.
Yeah, and Dan, they got Keith Cash back too. This is where they like to use. Montana used to use Brent Jones here all the time. Cash, a good receiver from that tight end spot.
On 1st and 10. Underneath, this is Keith Cash, and he is ridden out of bounds near the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10. They can get a first down without a touchdown.
Miami must be reading the same script.
Yeah. Well, and they happened to have a blitz on to the side that Joe was rolling, and they got upfield. Beavers and Cross both, I think, forced Joe into be a little more active than he wanted to be. Joe Green, the Hall of Famer, and Olivedati in the background. Joe Green blocks everybody out.
10th play of the drive coming up. 7:05 left in the half. Chiefs leading 14-10. Dawson in motion. Marcus Allen takes it just inside the 5 and then gets tackled.
Nice scrum. Ooh, as long as you're not in the bottom of it.
Let's see
where's going to give it to him.
That surge actually was about 2 yards in Kansas City's favor. Let's see where they spot that ball.
Well, they can get a first down, can't they?
Yeah. Yes, they can. It's well inside the 1-yard line.
This is Marcus is not providing the impetus on this surge. Some of his bigger friends are.
That's
rugby union.
That's a scrum.
3rd and a long 2 for a first down. They can get a first without getting it into the end zone. And Montana pump fake then throws, and his arm may have been hit. It's incomplete.
He was trying to go to Eric Martin, number 85, and I'm not sure if Joe was expecting a zig and got a zag or vice versa, but there was some confusion there.
And Joe, who wanted 7, will now have to settle for a 3-point attempt.
I think he just got a little bit of fine coverage.
Yep.
It's 3-on-2 for the Dolphins. A good defensive call on the part of Olivedati.
Now Lynn Elliott, a 21-yard field goal attempt. And he puts it through. So every drive in the game has resulted in points on both sides. 6:12 remaining in the first half, and the Chiefs are now up again by 7.
Introducing Ford Contour. Goal, a world car for the 21st century. Example, elevating safety. Begin with a steel safety shell. Add standard dual airbags and seats specially designed to hold you securely in place. Then offer anti-lock braking and all-speed traction control, an exclusive in this class. The totally new Ford Contour, a world car for the 21st century.
Energizer and Global TV invite you to share the magic of Walt Disney's animated classic, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now, you can own the enchantment on video and get $4 cash back by mail when you buy long-lasting Energizer batteries. Plus, you could win one of 250 limited edition Snow White collector sets. Offers this good disappear fast. So catch the magic at Shoppers Drug Mart today.
3 weekend warriors. 4-letter words. 6 flights daily. 17 scars. 0 limits. 9 lives. Equals 1 joyride. For all you do, this bud's for you.
Hang out with friends.
She's like this high-powered, driven career type.
What does she do?
She's a waitress.
Global's got it Thursday at 8:30.
That shot from the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, Joe Robbie Stadium in North Miami. Named for, as I mentioned before, the late owner of the Dolphins. This was his vision, and he made it happen.
Is this North Miami or South Fort Lauderdale?
North Miami.
Look at this.
And another Good kickoff this time by Lynn Elliott.
Mike Westhoff is so happy. So happy.
They'll start at the 20-yard line when we come back. The Atlantic Ocean in the distance. 6:06 left in the first half.
You're needed, and you can't let a cold get in the way. Hall's Mentholyptus with vapor action helps relieve sore throat, coughing, and nasal congestion. You can trust Hall's to help you cope with a cold.
You know, an apple sitting around too long, it goes bad. It's the same thing with a new battery. It loses power waiting to be bought. That's why at Interstate, we're constantly checking our batteries to make sure they're fresh, so that you don't end up with a bad apple.
The people that we were running with before, they promised everything, but then their phone systems didn't work very well. When you pick up the phone, you expect to be able to get the other person on the other line.
Every day, more and more businesses are switching back to Bell.
Bell has made promises and come through with everything that they've promised.
So give us a call, and we'll prove that we can give your business a real advantage. Bell Advantage.
We've been there and back, and we're glad that we're back.
Join Jim Taddy and Mark Hepsher on Sportsline, weeknights at 11:30 on Global.
Take a load off your brogues. Run the new red-green show up the flagpole and see if it flutters.
After Louis Aguilar's kickoff results in a touchback, Miami has it first down at the 20-yard line. Chiefs leading 17-10. Bernie Parmalee out of Ball State in Muncie, Indiana, picks up 1.5 yards. This AFC wildcard game is being brought to you by
deception. Taking a look at those flags, I mean, they're blowing pretty stiffly up at the top of the stadium, and very little down on the field.
Really just a pleasant breeze down on the floor of this stadium. Beautiful day here in South Florida.
A caressing breeze. Second down and indeed 9 as Marino doesn't do that very often, but it turns out to be a 6-yard gain, one of the few in his recent career.
Remember, this is a team, though, that respects Marino's running. Dan ran one in for a touchdown against the Chiefs when we were here on that Monday night game on the 12th. So
it took so long to do it. He had a coffee break on it.
That's true. There was a timeout on his way to the goal line. So
look at him turn the speed on, plant that right foot.
In fact, and he rolled out to his right the same way he did there. So I think Dan Marino on the loose now may throw fear into the heart of the Chief defense.
Into Don Shula.
Third down and 4. Marino guns one. It's caught by McDuffie, and he has the first down out of the 34-yard line, tackled by Charles Mincy.
Did you see the second guy in right there? The guy who was sneaking up, it was Derek Thomas. Don't you know he wouldn't like a shot at O.J.?
O.J., he had the first when he caught the ball, stepped back, he kind of lost it, but he has been their third down go-to guy many times. That's his 42nd reception of the year, his 32nd first down. And here's McDuffie playing mostly because Mark Ingram is injured and can't go.
Mincy gets him down, but there came 58 into the picture. Remember that big shot that O.J. McDuffie put on Thomas. A long day.
From the 34, Marino fires. It's caught in Kansas City territory by Irving Fryer at the 48-yard line. Tackled by William White, another Miami first down, 18-yard gain.
Marino loves to go up deep. He likes to take it high, but he has to take what Kansas City is going to give him. He practiced against Detroit's zone defense a week ago. He was patient. He threw underneath. He got the completions, moved the markers, and this is what they do once again. Kansas City laying off in their zone, and Fryer working underneath, getting good yardage.
Marino is 9 of 11 for 117 yards. Now Parmalee lines up in the slot to the right. James Saxon the sole setback. Marino deep down the near sideline, and that's incomplete. There's a flag down.
And the flag appeared to involve Carter and McDuffie.
Well, we saw Carter earlier grab a hold of McDuffie. This time McDuffie gave him a little move to the inside and broke it deep. Did he grab him again?
Illegal hands to the face. Number 34. Defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs and the architect of their system. Let's see if we can see that hands to the face. Well, boy, that was not a lot, but it was an attempt by Carter to grab, and he got it up around the face mask. But still, that was not all that big a deal.
First down, Miami at the 43-yard line. 3:14 to the half. Chiefs up by 7. Irving spikes. Irving takes it to the 37-yard line. Picking and threading and picking up about 6.
One of those rare free agents, Spikes from Northeast Louisiana, and he put a run on against Detroit last week that you'd pay to see over again. He is a good slashing type runner. He's 5'8", 215 pounds, and kind of reminds you of Emmitt Smith a little bit and Barry Sanders, at least in that stature, and he will bounce off tacklers. Had a big senior year at Northeast Louisiana of over 1,500 yards, and they like him a lot here.
Second down and 4 at the 37-yard line. Marino. And down he goes. He gets sacked for the first time today, and it would figure Derek Thomas.
Well, he had 11 during the regular season, and now he puts Dan down here in the playoffs. And, you know, for Derek Thomas, how sweet that must be. He's from Miami. To start Miami South High School, and quick. Watch this move here against Heller. Yep, there's that move to the inside, and again, it's that left shoulder of Ron Heller, and a good look there at how he wasn't able to react back with any strength and stop him, Frank.
There's no mercy, is there, in this game? And you better believe that Derek Thomas knows that it's the left side that's bothering Heller.
Nope, and they'll go after it all day long until Heller is either able to compensate, get help, or get replaced.
And Miami has to take a timeout because the play clock was running out, but it's before the 2-minute warning. Timeout, Dolphins.
Take a Seinfeld long weekend. First, tune into a show.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
Then call in sick on Friday.
Hey, I didn't twist your arm.
Tune into Seinfeld and you'll be laughing all weekend. Global's got it. Thursday at 9.
It's the unsinkable taste that's for everyone. But hey, did you know?
Cheerios has only 1 gram of sugar and the great taste your family loves.
I want $50,000 tomorrow.
Kevin Franklin decided he needed a change.
Derek. That's right.
Now he's pretending he's Derek Bond.
Dr. Bond?
And as long as nobody finds out...
Nurse, where's that Novocaine?
No, not that.
Kevin's having the time of Derek's life. Sinbad, Phil Hartman. House guest.
What do you think? You're a lucky man. Does that mean you can do something for him?
Whoa! Starts Friday, January 6th at a theater near you.
You want to hear something really funny?
Global's got the high-flying comedy of Wings.
What you need is a night out with Dr. Roy.
You'll bubble over with laughter.
I love you, Roy Biggins.
Sounds like a wedding day to me.
I have 2 words for you. Civil ceremony.
It's your round-trip ticket to hilarity.
Don't I feel the perfect fool?
Wings takes comedy to all new heights. Climb on board. Global's got it. Tuesday at 8. Join Jim Taddy and Mark Hepsher on Sportsline, weeknights at 11:30 on Global.
The play clock before that last play and the game clock were almost in sync. Originally, I think Marino thought he could go all the way to the 2-minute warning, then realized he had to take a timeout. So it's 3rd and 12 with 2:02 to play in the half. He needs 12, and he hits Williams, and he is out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
Oh, boy, this brings up an interesting call.
with the tackle. And it's going to be Miami's ball at the 36-yard line, the 2-minute warning.
There's a new sports game that's fun and easy to play. It's called Over Under. Fetch! Pick up a brochure now at your Sports Select retailer. Whoa, and find out all about it.
Hey, what took you?
New Over Under. It adds more fun to the action.
From headlights to transmission fluid to tires, inside, outside, top to bottom, Canadian Tire has you covered. Because we have the experience that comes from servicing over 10,000 cars every day and more than 65,000 auto parts and products, which means we help maintain more cars than anyone. So whatever you need, come to the one place with everything, Canadian Tire. There's a lot more for your car for a lot less.
Hey, boy. How's he do it?
Kind of like animal.
Yeah, right. Hey, Dougie, what's your secret?
Hey, guys. Hard work, balanced diet, variety, including milk. Cold, refreshing milk.
Sumashchiki bezumi nagi. You can say that again. Holy cow.
How are you going to spend your energy?
We're on the way. You're needed, and you can't let a cold get in the way. Hall's Mentholyptus with vapor action helps relieve sore throat, coughing, and nasal congestion. You can trust Hall's to help you cope with a cold.
It is 4th down and 3. If the Dolphins were to elect to kick a field goal, Pete Stoyanovich would be looking at about a 54-yarder, the longest ever in postseason play, a 58-yarder by Stoyanovich in a game between these two teams 4 years ago here in a wild card game. But right now, the Dolphins line up to go for it with 1:56 to the half. 4th down and 3.
If they don't get it, they're going to leave Kansas City in great field position with timeouts.
1:56 remaining in the half. KC up by 7. Marino pressured, guns it, open man McDuffie. First down to the 18-yard line.
Whoa, boy. How good was that? Well, how good under enormous duress, waited, and finally delivered at the last second.
But a great job by the Dolphin offensive linemen of hanging with their guys, staying on a block longer than you normally would have to, but knowing the importance of a 4th down play. And quite frankly, it looked to me like some of the Chiefs defensively just gave up on it.
Boy, what presence on the part of Marino. He feels those bodies all around him. Knows it's his own man, gets the completion. 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line. Marino guns it over the middle again to Keith Jackson. He takes it to the 10-yard line. Appears to be a little short of the first down. Tackled by Whitmore. The Dolphins have 2 timeouts remaining and spend one of them here. Well, they'll save one if they need it for the field goal. This is a good time to talk it over, however, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Keith Jackson, leading receiver over the season, a big target. Started out, as you probably recall, Philadelphia had a great rookie season there, 81 receptions, and has performed so well down here since he came as an unprotected free agent in '93. It'll be 2nd and 1 from the 10. Dave Adolph's defense trying to dig in, trying to protect the lead. There's so many relationships here. Dave Adolph was with Marty Schottenheimer at Cleveland '85, and Marty also had Tom Olivadotti. Gave him his first defensive coordinating job in Cleveland in 1985. So many relationships.
Well, the thing with over a minute left to go and the 1 timeout is that you have time to do anything you want to do offensively. You can run it, you can pass to the middle of the field, you can pass short and try to run it in. You are really not under a great deal of constraints time-wise. 2nd and inches at the 10. Marino under heavy pressure floats one into the arms of Aaron Craver, and Craver is out of bounds at the 2. One official started to signal touchdown, and the other had a better view and said no, he's not in.
Boy, what a hit by Mincy.
Right, the official working the goal line, who has the line of sight to the goal line and sees the ball cross the goal line, he calls it a touchdown. But the official working the sideline, who's able to see when the ball goes out of bounds, he's the one who rolls it off.
This is no touchdown. Yep. This is a great hit.
Yep, take a look at that right there. Well, I'm not so sure that wasn't a touchdown. Looked to me like he got the football inside the pylon, didn't he?
His foot was out just at about the 2-yard line, and now this is Bernie Parmalee taking it to the 1.
Did the foot go out of bounds?
I thought the foot went out of bounds.
The ball did.
Inside the 2.
Okay, if the foot is out, then of course it is out.
Meanwhile, the clock ticks down. Miami conserves its last timeout. Take another look. The left foot goes
there
out
it
at
is.
the
Okay.
1.5.
You're right. The foot is out. The ball wasn't. Good call by the official.
2nd and goal. They give it to Parmalee, and he can only get it to the half-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down now.
And here's their last timeout.
Remember, they had to burn that one timeout just prior to the 2-minute warning.
30-second timeout.
So now they're out of timeouts.
Well, if you got a Dan Marino, you're going to talk over your options at the sidelines with Don Shula. You know he's going to protect the football for you. You're going to have to throw it into the end zone, of course. And good coverage coming over the top. Number 52, Tracy Rogers. A little bit of hesitation on that. Good penetration on the part of the Kansas City Chiefs defense.
That was just the Chiefs getting underneath the Dolphins offensive line and not allowing them to get any movement. Rogers actually went so high, he went clear over the top of Bernie Parmalee.
This is a big hit by Charles Mincy.
Yeah, let's go back and look at that again. There is the foot out of bounds.
Drove Craver out of bounds, forced that left foot to go out of bounds. And that was a great recovery on the part of Mincy.
And it's a good look at the coordination that goes on between officiating crew. The one guy called it in his area of responsibility, which was looking at the ball and the goal line. And the other official, whose area of responsibility was the sideline, was all over it.
It is 3rd down and goal. Everybody up on the front line for Kansas City. And Marino's going to go to the air, backpedaling and looking and throwing for the touchdown to Ronnie Williams.
And Vaughn Booker is all over Dan Marino. And Dan Marino makes him miss. He is in Marino's face. And Frank, that's a nifty little move by Dan Marino to get away from him.
Twice on this drive, Marino, with unbelievable pressure, has the presence and the cool and the heart, if you will, to get the completion. And I don't know, you look at Montana, he orchestrates an offense. Marino just dominates an offense. He's going to make it happen.
You don't have to be fast for 20 yards. Just be fluid for a yard or two. Watch this move right there. Number 99, Booker, has a free shot at Dan Marino, and Dan, with that little sidestep to the outside, gets away and gets a touchdown for his reward.
Stoyanovich for the point after. Ronnie Williams had not scored a point in his career. Picked a pretty good time, didn't he?
That he did.
Well, Marino, Montana, glamour matchup. So often these games don't come close to living up to advanced billing, but what a half this has been. What a beauty.
I couldn't agree with you more, Al. This is everything we hoped it would be. Again, watch the right of your screen. There's Booker, and look at Marino. Not much, just a couple yards worth of work, but enough to buy him the time.
And you said something so true about both these quarterbacks. They're not the kinds of quarterbacks who are going to beat you running the football, but they have such presence in the pocket. They have a sense of feel about where people are, and believe me, when you're down there at a different level, a different plane of action, you just see flashes, you hear sounds, you feel things, and these two guys, Montana and Marino, do it as well as anyone has ever done it.
The answer you get a lot of times from a great player when you say, why did you do this? A lot of times the greatest players give you the answer, I don't know. It's instinct. It's instinct.
Coming up at the half, Boomer Esiason joins John Saunders in New York. They'll also visit with Steeler coach Bill Cowher. I had a chance to visit with Don Shula yesterday. Speaking of Bill Cowher, if Kansas City wins this game, they go to Pittsburgh next weekend. If Miami wins this game, they go to San Diego next weekend. Loser, of course, goes home.
And we come back here. January 29th.
January 29th. 4 weeks from tomorrow. 22 seconds remaining in a spectacular first half. The game tied at 17. Stojanovic to kick off. Each team with 3 possessions in the half. And each possession resulting in points. John Vaughn will accept this one, but it's taken up at the 21-yard line by one of the up people, Danon Hughes. Quarterback comparison, and keep in mind that last Miami drive was kept alive by that 4th and 3 completion, and there are the numbers through the first half of play. Terrific.
2 guys that have thrown for over 7,000 completions, over 85,000 yards, teams touchdowns, over 600 of them.
And what do they have between them? They have 5 incomplete passes out of 31 attempts. That's not 2, and 3 touchdowns. That's pretty decent first half for both those guys, to say the least.
Chiefs will be content to go in with the game tied. A little kneel down by Montana at the 30. Just a fabulous first half at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. Kansas City 17, Miami 17, and we'll return after this word from our ABC stations. Line. Both quarterbacks brilliant in the first half. Every drive resulting in points. And here are the numbers through the first 30 minutes of play. 422 total yards.
Those 2 goose eggs.
Yep, still not a turnover in this game, and we all know the importance of turnovers in playoff football.
Kansas City plus 12 coming into this game in the takeaway giveaway ratio. Miami flat even.
Dolphins at the 36-yard line. The fake. Marino rolling and throwing, and the catch is made by Irving Fryer in Kansas City territory at the 46-yard line.
They go right back to work on Mark Collins. Marino reading a single coverage on the rollout. Collins giving so much yardage to Irving Fryer, respecting Fryer's ability to go deep. Collins not one of the speediest corners. I talked about it earlier. He's a very heady corner, but he can get in trouble with speed, and slipped a little bit to coming back to Fryer.
18-yard gain, first down Miami at the Chief 46-yard line. Deep drop, and then Bernie Parmalee makes the catch inside the 40, the 30, down to the 20-yard line.
Beautifully executed screen pass. Dan Marino gave up close to 15 yards, drifting back, setting this thing up. Got some good blocks out front.
Kansas
Widener, Dellenbach.
Bad tackling on their own, too.
Oh. But boy, did he have to give some ground. There's Bernie with the ball. There's the first block on Minuski by Widener. That gets it started. Then some missed tackles. Finally, William White is the guy that has to bring him down. But, geez, was that set up nicely by Dan Marino.
Irving spikes the tailback, the fake to Spikes. And then Saxon drops the ball. Started to look ahead. There's a marker down.
That flag coming in where you usually get one for a hold. And it's going to work against the Dolphins.
Holding, number 60, offense. 10 yards, first down.
Joe Phillips making a move to the inside against Bert Widener, and he tried to save his quarterback and gets the flag.
Keith Byers there listening. That's probably Bernie Kosar's helmet.
Might be ordering a pizza.
Yeah, that's, well, he might be.
That's frequency popping in here every now and then.
Yeah, he's listening in on Bernie's helmet. Bernie's on a headset. And the starting backfield for the Dolphins is on the sidelines. Terry Kirby and Keith Byers.
First and 20. Irving spikes inside the 20, inside the 10, a first down to the 6-yard line. Tackle by Carter.
Now you see why they wanted to get him into the game. He's hard to bring down, and he covered that ball so well, and Miami wants to go with a hurry-up offense before Kansas City can change their defense. And Kansas City is going to have to call timeout.
Boy, nice play by the Dolphins, forcing the Chiefs to burn a timeout.
By this guy.
Oh, yeah.
How many that was.
Beautiful blocking up front for Irving Spikes. That's one way to make a 1st and 20 disappear.
1st and goal when we come back.
This quarter is brought to you by Chrysler Canada.
Last year, our employees earned almost $1 billion in salaries. Our suppliers and their employees earned over $5 billion. And we exported over $9 billion worth of products built here. To you, they're just components of your new car. But the sum of these parts is the livelihood of over 90,000 Canadians. At Chrysler, we're not just building cars, we're building Canada.
Energizer and Global TV invite you to share the magic of Walt Disney's animated classic, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now, you can own the enchantment on video and get $4 cash back by mail when you buy long-lasting Energizer batteries. Plus, you could win one of 250 limited edition Snow White collector sets. Offers this good disappear fast. So catch the magic at Shoppers Drug Mart today.
There's a new attitude on the ridge. Global's got Destiny Ridge, 10 p.m. Wednesday.
Opening drive of the second half, the Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs tied 17-17. Marty Schottenheimer sort of shaking his head as the Dolphins have taken it all the way down to the 6-yard line. 1st and goal. Ernie Parmalee is the tailback. Toss to Parmalee. And he gets taken down on a nice tackle by Derek Thomas. No game.
Well, Thomas beat off the block of James Saxon. That's the matchup right at the point of attack, and Thomas just dispatches Saxon. Watch it. Saxon will come in from the right. Derek gives a little ground, throws him off to the side, and boy, that's why he's a Pro Bowl football player.
Richmond Webb had done a great job on McCall, taking him down. Had Saxon even got a piece of Derek Thomas, that was 6 points.
Marino out of the shotgun on 2nd and goal. 4-man rush. Saxon drops it again. That's the same pass he dropped just a couple of moments ago on a play that was negated by a penalty.
Well, I'll tell you, that sometimes happens when you put the ball in there so perfectly like Marino did, and Saxon was thinking about running the ball, going to turn for the flag, took his eyes off the ball and lost it.
Not a big series here so far for James Saxon.
You can watch, you almost see his head come off it.
He misses the lead block on 1st and goal, drops the pass on 2nd and goal. I bet you James Saxon would really like an opportunity to redeem himself. I don't think it'll come on this series, though, because he's not even in the game.
Right, Aaron Kramer's the 3rd down back. Chiefs show blitz. Here they come. They pick it up. Marino lost one. Touchdown to Irving Fryer.
Well, this drive was the Irving show. Fryer and Spikes.
The Kansas City Chiefs were reading the play clock, which had counted down to 3. They came with their blitz, timing it out with the snap they knew Marino had to pull off right before he would violate the play clock. And that was a perfectly laid up football. The little fade pattern, perfect touch.
And Dale Carter never saw the football.
Never saw it, no.
No, he's playing the receiver all the way.
Another great drive.
And was playing him too far off.
Stojanovic.
Oh, boy. What a game.
3 minutes into the 3rd quarter. Miami 24, Kansas City 17.
Last year, our employees earned almost $1 billion in salaries. Our suppliers and their employees earned over $5 billion. And we exported over $9 billion worth of products built here. To you, they're just components of your new car. But the sum of these parts is the livelihood of over 90,000 Canadians. At Chrysler, we're not just building cars, we're building Canada.
Third boxcar, midnight train, destination Bangor, Maine. I'm a man of means, by no means, king of the road.
The moral of the story is the copper top tops them all.
Ah, yeah, king of the road.
But we haven't come across any Kampucheans who want the Vietnamese to go now. These people dread the ruin of Zimbabwe.
Ground fighting, the communist drive towards Saigon continues.
Arrives here, but the Soviet withdrawal has begun.
South Armagh, and the remote possibility of positive activity.
There's no substitute for experience. Now there's no need to wait until 11 for national news. Join Peter Kent on the First National, weeknights at 6:30 on the Global Television Network.
Dabney Coleman's a household name.
I am the madman of the people.
And he's as sweet as ever.
Who the hell's nicer than me?
Global's got it 9:30 Thursday.
The sun setting in South Florida on this New Year's Eve 1994 wild card game, and it's been a wild game. 24-17 Miami. Pete Stoyanovich to kick off. John Vaughn back to receive. An angled kick. Vaughn on the run at the 9. Back out to the 28-yard line. James Saxon makes the tackle. No punch in the game. Every possession resulting in points. Let's take a look first at the Dolphins. They've had the ball 4 times, 3 touchdowns, and a field goal.
I bet that makes Dave Adolph, the Kansas City defensive coordinator, thrilled beyond belief.
And on the other side, you've got 2 touchdowns, a field goal, and that other one was simply a kneel down to run out the clock for Kansas City at the end of the first half.
That just makes Tom Olivedati of the Dolphins a little less pleased. He's not as bad off as Dave Adolph.
Crowd in a frenzy. Montana stumbles as he retreats, but regains his balance and then has it knocked down. A flag goes down. It looked like Marco Coleman batted it. Jerry Markbright, the referee.
The foul is illegal touching of a forward pass. The ball hit number 76. The penalty is loss of down only. Second down.
John Alt, 6'8". Understandable. Good coverage by the part of the Dolphins. Montana looked off one receiver, tried to get to another one, and just good coverage downfield.
Loss of down only, as Markbright stated. Second down 10. Chiefs at the 28. Kimball Anders finds a little bit of room, but Brian Cox is there to stop him after a pickup of 2.
Well, that roar went up partially because of the missed tackle on the touchdown run of Anders earlier by Brian Cox. This time he got the hit and also wrapped the arms around. Number 51, watch him. Good solid tackle here.
Well, to his credit, Brian Cox and his move to the middle, which was the second week of the season, is the reason Miami has improved so much. He's going to the Pro Bowl this year as a middle linebacker. He went 2 years ago as an outside linebacker. Give him credit.
3rd and 8. Joe stepping away. Has to get to the 38 for a first down. He's a little short. He's tackled at the 36 by Michael Stewart. 4th down.
Joe being a little tentative. He knew exactly where he had to go. He also knew that he was not going to get there. He also knew he wanted to be in on the next series.
But that's one of the rare times to actually get a look at the 94 version of Joe Montana versus the 84 version. The 84 version would have run for a first down easily, but Joe right there, Frank, you said it was very smart. No need to pull a muscle or hurt himself.
Louis Aguiar, who has never had a punt block in his career, booms a beauty, and a fair catch is called for at the 11-yard line by O.J. McDuffie. That's a 53-yard Aguiar kick. 10-14 left in the third.
Last year, our employees earned almost $1 billion in salaries. Our suppliers and their employees earned over $5 billion. And we exported over $9 billion worth of products built here. To you, they're just components of your new car. But the sum of these parts is the livelihood of over 90,000 Canadians. At Chrysler, we're not just building cars, we're building Canada.
7 numbers to play. Super chances to win. And a jackpot that can climb fast and high. New Lotto Super 7. $2 gets you 3 plays. New Lotto Super 7. The sky's the limit.
Last year, our employees earned almost $1 billion in salaries. Our suppliers and their employees earned over $5 billion. And we exported over $9 billion worth of products built here. To you, they're just components of your new car. But the sum of these parts is the livelihood of over 90,000 Canadians. At Chrysler, we're not just building cars, we're building Canada.
They're the most hilariously irreverent family on TV.
Oh, yeah.
They're the Simpsons, and Global's got it. Friday at 8.
Now let us never speak of it again.
The Sugar Bowl plays in the clear Monday night right here on ABC.
And back here at the old dry wash. And back here at the Arroyo Dolphino.
Right. Miami now from the 12-yard line. It's Irving Spikes for a first down after the 26, and a flag comes in at the end of the play. William White made the tackle.
What a massive hole in the middle of the Kansas City defense, and I guess
that's why.
One thing he does not like, including laterals, is a holding call.
It is.
Or an official who calls it.
All right, let's look in the middle here. 75 is Joe Phillips. He's working against Sims. Off on the left-hand side, we see Tracy Simeon. He's working over there with Dellenbach.
Holding number 65, offense. Penalty from the spot of the foul. 10 yards, first down.
So it's Dellenbach and Tracy Simeon, and Dellenbach gets the call.
I guess in the overall scheme of things, Dan, it's pretty picky. What you see when you run a replay, I thought they could have called Keith Sims myself.
It's just the way the rules have been liberated for offensive linemen on run blocking and what they can do. It looks like there's holding taking place on every play.
It creates a 1st and 13 from the 10-yard line, and Irving Spikes is stopped for no gain. Let's get an update from Lynn Swan. Lynn?
Thank you, Al. You know, we're seeing in the second half kind of what Don Shula told me about the first half. I asked him about that 4th and 3 situation. He said, you've got to give in the big ball game your offense a chance to win it for you, and we've seen them come out in the second half and do it. I also talked to Keith Jackson, who left the field early. Keith is suffering from a 24-hour flu. He went in halftime and got an IV. He says he's okay. He's going to give it his best here throughout the second half. Al?
All right, Lynn, that flu is making the rounds through the Dolphin camp this week.
Tim Irwin has it, doesn't it?
Well, Marino had a touch of it earlier in the week. Right. 2nd and 13. Here is Spikes. He takes it to the 15-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 8. ABC's AFC Wildcard game is being brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer.
drive a Ford and drink Bud and go to McDonald's. This is just a perfect game for you.
Absolutely. Good trifecta.
3rd down and 8 at the 15. 4:35 left in the 3rd quarter. Miami with the ball and a 7-point lead. 3-man rush. Marino throws. It's almost intercepted by Darren Anderson. But it will create Miami's first punt. Mike Williams, the intended receiver.
And nearly our first turnover for Miami. Dave Adolph saying, oh, wow, can we hold on to anything? The zone, Marino trying to squeeze it right in between the defenders. A risky one, to say the least.
Well, we've got a guy who's exciting back there, Dale Carter. He can make things happen.
Here's the kick by John Kidd. 48 yards taken at the 37-yard line.
Oh.
He can.
Thanks, Dale.
7-yard run back.
He looked like a quail squatting down in some deep brush.
Here comes the dog.
Last year, our employees earned almost $1 billion in salaries. Our suppliers and their employees earned over $5 billion. And we exported over $9 billion worth of products built here. To you, they're just components of your new car. But the sum of these parts is the livelihood of over 90,000 Canadians. At Chrysler, we're not just building cars, we're building Canada.
President's Choice Club Packs are a favorite of families who demand the best possible quality at the lowest possible price. Check out our great Club Pack values. Our famous meat lasagna with more than 4.5 million pounds sold. Our new mushroom risotto cabbage rolls with 5 vegetables. A fabulous cheese cannelloni with 5 cheeses and tasty veal cannelloni too. A refreshing assortment of Club Pack punches and cocktails. 2 of our favorite breakfast cereals and our classic 80-piece Memories of Hors d'oeuvre collection. President's Choice Club Packs. Outstanding products, outstanding value.
Last year, our employees earned almost $1 billion in salaries. Our suppliers and their employees earned over $5 billion. And we exported over $9 billion worth of products built here. To you, they're just components of your new car. But the sum of these parts is the livelihood of over 90,000 Canadians. At Chrysler, we're not just building cars, we're building Canada.
Neil Smith on the way to yet another Pro Bowl, and that is a good look at a football player. He's played through this season with a broken thumb surgery. He had a dislocated elbow. He had an ankle injury, and he has started 13 games, played in 14, and he is leaving his heart out here today. You just have to admire these guys. They started this game back in July, and there is no tomorrow for whoever loses it tonight.
You okay, Al?
Al almost lost it in the booth.
I know one thing we need to fix before the Super Bowl. It's called a chair.
This is really a good game when you're falling off your chair over there.
Absolutely, literally. Kansas City 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Montana throwing to Lake Dawson, and a rookie from Notre Dame, an emerging young wide receiver, is out of bounds near the 50-yard line. His first catch.
That's a nice looking play, because what it looks like initially is that Dawson is a blocker as he comes out, locks up with one of the Dolphins. He's the motion man, holds that block for about 2 seconds, then releases.
Watch the stiff arm. Yeah. He's a big wide receiver at 205 pounds. He throws a left stiff arm in there.
J.B. Brown takes the brunt of that. But he initially is fighting off Marco Coleman and then releases. Good looking play.
2nd and 3. Marcus Allen taken down a little shy of the first down. Brian Cox in there along with Aubrey Beavers.
Defense problem for Tom Olivadotti, complicated today when Holyer at the right linebacker couldn't go earlier in the year. Beavers is in there, as a matter of fact, because they lost Chris Singleton after 11 games. So they are really playing with their second-string linebackers on both corners.
3rd and a very short 2. Double tight end set. Here's Marcus, and he does not make it.
I don't think so either.
First down. Tim Bowens was right there.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Well, the rookie Bowens is going to be in on that.
You can't ever say anything until you see where the ball is spotted, but if that is spotted for first down, that's an unbelievably generous spot.
Tough to run in that middle against Bowens and Klingbeil. You don't hear much about Klingbeil, but he is tough against the run.
Yeah, he's rock solid. Not a great pass rusher, but he is a short, solid, low center of gravity guy that's tough to root off the line of scrimmage. 6'1", 301 pounds.
That's good. Stay away from dogs.
He ain't wearing no medium golf shirt. Louis Aguiar to punt. O.J. McDuffie back to receive it. McDuffie calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 19-yard line. Miami has the ball back. 6:24 left in the third in the wild card game in Miami, where the Dolphins lead by 7.
Last year, our employees earned almost $1 billion in salaries. Our suppliers and their employees earned over $5 billion. And we exported over $9 billion worth of products built here. To you, they're just components of your new car. But the sum of these parts is the livelihood of over 90,000 Canadians. At Chrysler, we're not just building cars, we're building Canada.
Andy Sipowicz and Bobby Simone, two cops cracking crime on the Big Apple.
We talk inside instead out here in front of your neighbors.
Global's got NYPD Blue, 10 p.m. Tuesday. Monday, on the next Madison, RJ defends Tia's reputation.
Tomorrow outside after school.
Global's got Madison, Monday at 9.
Last year, our employees earned almost $1 billion in salaries. Our suppliers and their employees earned over $5 billion. And we exported over $9 billion worth of products built here. To you, they're just components of your new car. But the sum of these parts is the livelihood of over 90,000 Canadians. At Chrysler, we're not just building cars, we're building Canada.
There's a new attitude on the Ridge. Global's got Destiny Ridge, 10 p.m. Wednesday. This quarter has been brought to you by Chrysler Canada.
Miami. Dusk. 24-17.
That chamber comments or not?
Dolphins up by 7 at the 19-yard line. Dan Marino throws. The catch is made by Bernie Parmalee. No turnovers in the game. Coaches are always stressing we can't have turnovers. It's particularly true in postseason.
Now, what do we have? 30 playoff games where the loser of the turnover differential was also the loser of the game. And here we have a game, as Al said, with no turnovers. So you have to think, looking at past history, the guy who turns this thing over here is in trouble.
Go back 3 weeks ago, Miami 45, Kansas City 28, 3 interceptions against Bono in that game.
2nd and 2. Here's Parmalee breaking one for a first down. Dan mentioning there have been 30 consecutive postseason games going all the way back to 1991 in which there was a differential. And the team with the fewer ones has won every game. There have been some games, including the Detroit-Green Bay game today, where there were no turnovers at all, so no differential in that mix. But you go back to the Raider-Cincinnati Bengal game at the end of the 1990 season, Jan 91. That's the game in which Bo Jackson ended his career, suffered that hip injury, and that's the last time one team had more turnovers than the other and won the game.
I know you think coaches speak in cliches, and that's one of the first. Well, we just can't afford to turn the ball over. Well, they speak the truth.
Here's an end around to McDuffie, who turns it through the middle around. And he takes it to the Chief 48-yard line. Tackled by Carter.
We've seen it all. You don't draw around that way. An end around that ends up back where he started.
That was basically ugly, and McDuffie and Marino both having a chuckle over it. But
that's an end around.
That was a
one-man reverse, Frank.
That was a mess. But McDuffie turns it into something. There he is, number 81. Timing all fouled up, and Red by Tracy Simeon, the middle linebacker. He was waiting for McDuffie. McDuffie put the brakes on, took it back, as you said, Dan, right where he came from, and gets good yardage.
1st and 10 at the 48 of Kansas City. Spikes. Rule on the outside. And coming up to make a nice tackle from the corner is Mark Collins, the former Giant.
Oh, that is a good tackle. We told you the dimensions of Spikes, 5'8", 215 pounds, the lowercase Barry Sanders, and Mark Collins is known as a good tackler. He doesn't have that great speed anymore at the corner, but he made a fine stop against Spikes.
That was a good tackle by Collins, but I'm impressed with how quickly Irving Spikes got to the corner. For a man of his size, he has got an explosive burst to the corner. And boy, this is a rookie that you think is going to be around with the Dolphins for a long time.
6 carries for Spikes, 47 yards. On 2nd and 6, Marino throwing, and it's incomplete. And naturally, we sing his praises, and Irving drops one.
Yeah. Well, he didn't do a whole lot of that Northeast Louisiana. Actually, we told you he's from Northeast Louisiana. He went 2 years to Alabama, transferred to Northeast Louisiana, was not drafted. He's a pure free agent. 1,500 yards as a senior rushing. When you rush for 1,500 yards, you're usually not on the business end of a whole lot of passes.
Goodyear blimp stars and stripes floating above Joe Robbie Stadium in the gloaming.
In the gloaming?
In the glow. Almost looks like a painting. 3rd and 6 at the 43-yard line. And the catch is made by Scott Miller, who's been around for a long time. Flag comes in at the end. He's got a first down.
Very late.
Seldom used wide out in his 4th year from UCLA.
We said in the first quarter, though, that's why you don't blitz Marino. Kansas City with one of their rare blitzes. Marino picking up it all the way.
It's a corner blitz where all of a sudden the corner coming on the blitz, Mark Collins throws out the air brakes and goes, oh no, I better get back into this play. Here's the face mask at the end of the play. That's Charles Mincy. And he spins it all the way back around. But you're right, Mark Collins came on the blitz. They got caught and they paid.
Two now. Miller's first catch. Marino has connected with 9 different receivers. From the 28 on first down. Parmalee, nothing. 2nd and 10. Darren Mickle stops him. Dan Marino, early on in his career, the Super Bowl against the 49ers, and he has said it several times in interviews in recent years. Boy, he thought he'd be back, but he has not been. And last year, they didn't even make the playoffs. The year before that, they seemed to be on a roll, but came up short at the end.
It's just wonderful to see Dan Marino back in the NFL. It was a long, dry spell last year without him when he was sitting out because of that Achilles tendon surgery. And he's still not 100%. He still limps when he walks and is still hobbled a little bit.
And thinks he may need another surgery. 2nd and 10. Here's the catch made by Aaron Craver, who's taken out of bounds at the 22-yard line by Tracy Simeon. James Saxon had limped off. Craver normally comes in on 3rd down, but was in there on 2nd down to make the catch here.
Craver, a good story. Came up 3rd round pick in '91. Injured a lot. Tore up his knee. Had reconstruction surgery last year. Missed all the season and has really looked good for the Miami Dolphins. They just have been unable to find a place to put him in there. Of course, we mentioned earlier they lost Terry Kirby, the sensational rookie from last year. They lost him in the 4th game. They lost Keith Byers. So it's good that Craver and Spikes have come on.
A minute 50 to go in the 3rd. Miami up by 7. Marino throwing out of the end zone, out of bounds. Irving Fryer made the catch, but he was out of bounds. And it will be 4th and 4. Clearly out was Irving Fryer.
And Marino put that ball where only Fryer would be able to handle it. I think he knew it was going to be out of bounds. I think he was unhappy with what happened underneath on this pass pattern. And he didn't want to throw this ball, but it's amazing. Even when you're throwing it away, you're almost getting 6.
Well, there was some major holding going on in that play.
Here's a 40-yard Pete Stoyanovich attempt. Earlier, he made a 40-yarder. John Kidd is the holder. And he does it again. With 1 minute and 36 seconds remaining in the third quarter, Miami has its biggest lead of the game.
And Joe Montana has been very impatient on the sideline. He wants to get that offense back into the game. What a great opportunity to sit in on this one. Two Hall of Famers in the making.
Have you guys noticed over the last several years how Dan Marino has become more demonstrative, how he has become, in my mind, so much more of a guy who's saying the Miami Dolphins are my football team, and I am going to exert my will more than I have in the past. And
you're right.
Dan Marino, such a competitor, but has now become, I think, an up-front, out-front type of leader for this football team.
Part of it, Dan, we touched on it. There's an urgency on the part of Dan Marino. He's done it all in this game. There are 29 pages in Harvey Green's press guide here at Miami about Dan Marino, and that's more than the coach. That's dangerous, but Dan Marino's done it all except get to that Super Bowl and win that Super Bowl.
That record he set earlier with his 11th consecutive postseason game with a touchdown pass eclipses a mark he had shared with Ken Stabler and Joe Montana. Montana's streak is not a current streak, so Dan owns that mark by himself with 11.
Well, too many times, I think, a lot of times, the quarterback is a robot. He is a machine who's the extension of the coach, and he just executes the plays that are sent out there, a lot of times being asked to do it by their coach, to be devoid of personality. That is not the case with Dan Marino. He'll yell at you and shove you and talk to you. A little Sammy Baugh there in
modern day Marino. Yeah, modern day Bobby Lane.
Bobby Lane. The old timers weren't afraid to get in your face.
Stoyanovich sends it down to John Vaughn, who's run back from the 6-yard line to the 29-yard line. And now a very important drive for the Kansas City Chiefs, because you've got 16 minutes and 26 seconds left in regulation, and for the first time in the game, one team leads the other by more than a touchdown. There he is in the second half, just 1 of 2 for 7 yards after a scintillating first half. And let's see what Paul Hackett sends in here.
And it's also imperative that the Miami defense rise up here.
You've got Greg Hill in the game in the backfield with Allen resting for the moment. And Joe throwing, and it's batted and incomplete. Ken Bowens, the rookie out of Mississippi, got his hands on it.
I know. In the last drive, we saw one batted away also by Coleman, and now it's the rookie Bowens. Well, finally getting pressure.
This is the problem when you fall behind on the road, because now the crowd becomes a factor. It's going to be hard to hear, hard to do anything. A great look there of Bowens blocking the ball, and we made a point about there being no turnovers in the game. You think that Miami maybe could survive a turnover. At this stage of the game, I'm not sure Kansas City could, especially at this end of the field.
2nd and 10. Joe with a roll. Threads one right in there to Keith Cash. The 44-yard line.
Al touched on it earlier in the game. Keith Cash missed 10 weeks this year with an injury. Last year in the playoffs, the 3 playoff games, he had 17 receptions. He was their guy that they planned big-time things with this year, and, of course, got hurt this year and has been out the first 10 games. Just came back last week. He works well with Joe Montana, who's used to a good tight end, receiving tight end, a la Brett Jones of the 49ers.
Montana now 14 of 19 for an even 200 yards. Marcus Allen slips down, gets up, and then fights his way out to the 45-yard line. Half a minute to go in the third quarter. Again, if the Chiefs win this game as the number 6 seed, they would face the top seed. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers. If Miami wins this game, and in effect Miami is the number 3 seed, they go to San Diego, seeded 2nd.
Talking to the Miami Dolphins, when they think back to that Indianapolis game, 1st and goal at the 3-yard line, 2 minutes to play. Had they got that in, won that game, they would be home watching the playoffs today. They would have a week off, and they would have a host goal.
That is the end of the third quarter. Miami 27, Kansas City 17. We'll return to Miami after this word from our ABC station.
Because hockey season lasts until July, Micotin penetrates the skin to kill athlete's foot.
Hey guys, we got a problem. Stores everywhere selling our clothes. NFL Pro Line?
Oh, great. Now everyone can look like us.
Big deal. Who could have a bath for us? Oh gosh, what if they fooled the press?
There I was, 4th and goal.
And when Pro Line's probably gonna get them right on the field, right? Maybe I'm taking this whole thing a little too serious.
Come on, we can take these guys.
Steve?
NFL Pro Line. Wear what the pros wear.
You feel like walking on the wild side?
Starting January 7th, we're giving away $110,000 in Ontario.
In the Bud Super Bowl payoff.
Find match and win cards in 24s of Bud.
Or for contest details and no purchase entry, dial 1-800-566-2682.
Then catch NFL playoff games right here on Global.
In each game, if your game card matches the one we show, you could win $10,000.
So play the Bud Super Bowl payoff.
Or next time, it's your kneecaps.
Andy Sipowicz and Bobby Simone, two cops cracking crime on the Big Apple.
Can we talk inside instead of out here in front of your neighbors?
Global's got NYPD Blue, 10 p.m. Tuesday.
Your analyst canceled your aromatherapy sessions and ran off with your personal psychic, your juicer, and your cappuccino maker? Assume the fetal position and the new Red Green Show.
Back in Miami, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, and Lynn Swan. We start the fourth quarter. Miami leading by 10. Kansas City at its own 45, second and 9. Joe Montana sends Willie Davis, who's been quiet today, in motion, and then throws to Kimball Anders, and he gets taken down by Jesse Solomon at the 48-yard line.
Good coverage downfield. Montana had no place to put it. Dumps it off, and this time good tackling on the part of the Dolphins.
3rd and 6. Pretty key play coming up right here.
Monster play.
And the crowd knows it, and they sense it. Third and 6. The ball is given to Anders, and Kimball Anders has a first down to the 45-yard line. What a call.
What hats off to both these offensive coordinators. Paul Hackett making the call there. Of course, he was with Montana with the 49ers, 83-85. But on both sides of the ball, we're getting good calls from Gary Stevens of the Dolphins.
Good blocking there on the left side. Credit the offensive line. Zott, the left guard. Big John Alt there on the left side. Look at him throw Marco Coleman all the way upfield. Will Shields came all the way across. Good looking play.
And first down at the 45-yard line. Joe protected brilliantly. Throws. Catch made by Derek Walker at the 32-yard line. Another first down, and Montana back in rhythm.
Boy, Eric Walker has been so special for Kansas City this year with Keith Cash, which we've already documented on the bench for so long, and this former University of Michigan free agent makes another big play here, keeps the drive moving. Only 6 feet tall. He holds on to it.
Michael Stewart with a tackle, 15-yard gain, first down at the 30. 13-15 left in the fourth. Miami leads by 10. Marcus Allen. Marcus takes it to the 19-yard line. This looks like their first drive of the game now. Derek Graham led the way. Good block, first down.
Well, I tell you who else got a good block out front. I think Kimball Anders was the guy that was the lead blocker there.
We whacked Stewart.
Right now, it looks to me like fatigue is setting in a little bit on the Miami defense. They're not as crisp. They're not as sharp. They're not pursuing as well as they were at the beginning of the ball game. And Kansas City is getting an awful lot of people involved offensively, mixing and matching very well.
First down at the 19-yard line. The fake, the throw, Burton, and he's ridden out of bounds just inside the 11-yard line, a little short of the first down. J.B. Brown makes the tackle.
Well, he's well aware of the clock. He's aware of the score. He's starting early to conserve time for Kansas City.
And if I'm Kansas City right now, Frank, and I'm Montana, I move my huddle briskly. I get up to the, I don't go to a no huddle, but I get up there as quickly as I can. You can see they've picked up the pace. I think they sense they've got Miami on their heels.
Absolutely. With 15 seconds still left on the play clock on 2nd and 1. They give it to Anders, and he takes it down to the 5-yard line. It'll be first and goal.
You can see that one team right here, that wasn't even all that nicely an executed play. It was not a thing of beauty, and yet it's still good for the 4 yards, even without looking like a whole lot. This is a Dolphin team right now that needs to dig deep and come up with something.
10th play of this drive. The drive has started back at the 29-yard line. Cash in motion. It's first and goal. Montana throws, and it is intercepted by J.B. Brown.
That's digging deep. Somebody better get him.
Out of bounds at the 24-yard line.
That's digging deep.